Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Once again, it is another episode of ABJ Live. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with none other than Christopher Play Martin. Most of you know him from the legendary Kid and Play movies and House Party movies from back in the 90s. But today, he is here. He's got a brand new thing that he's doing, and we are talking all about its brand news in life. Correct, sir?
Yeah, thank you. Because some people leave the life word off of it, so I appreciate the correct pronunciation and fullness of it. Thank you.
Well, one thing, man. First of all, I got to commend you on what you're doing, using your star power, using that global presence that you have to change the narrative for our community. Because I think it's so important to see positive images of African Americans. What do you say to that?
Well, I appreciate that because it's not the road many travel. You know, in these days, it seems to be, well, not seems to be, it's actually a different kind of hunger for entertainment and things to get people's attention, which I get it. You know, I've been a supplier of it and consumption of it as well. But it was in my travels, many travels, and still continuing to travel, that I engage in some pretty interesting conversations with the most unlikely of individuals. And when I say that, I mean, when we talk and they tell me what they do, it's like, wow, you know, because they want to hear about what I do. I said, and I could tell you a better story that really leads to that. It was during a incarceration stint that really opened my eyes to how incredible other people's lives are. But in my travels, meeting people and them telling me things that they do that don't make the news or the powers that be don't find very newsworthy. So there's something I wanted to do, which was to get more into cinematography, digital cinematography. So why not take care of two birds in one action? You know, me continuing to grow and get better at that, but also capturing people with interviews and footage of things that they do.
Now, brand news in life, this is not just you sitting down with celebrities. You're also sitting down with just everyday people in the communities, correct?
I try to avoid the celebrities, no shade, because, you know, pretty much people know. I'll rock with a celebrity if they're doing something that's outside of what they're popularly known for,
Okay.
some positive things that they're doing people unaware of. And most of the time, they really appreciate me wanting to take that perspective or that angle with the story with them because they really want to show people what they're sometimes really passionate about. But yeah, I try and focus on the people that I feel are deserving of some attention and people just need to know, like my current episode, we deal with, for instance, a guy by the name of Robert Horton, who creates trap gardens, you know, getting together with the youth and cultivating the soil in neighborhoods that most people wouldn't think anything good would come out of, you know,
Wow.
outside people that don't know any better. It's called trap, the trap houses, trap sections of certain neighborhoods, and he does these gardens. So that's a perfect example of, you know, what I'm about, and I think what you're asking about.
Wow. Now, what are some of the areas with brand news in life? What are some of the things that you really want to try to highlight in our community? Because I think so many of our kids, you know, we kind of get taught this thing that either I'm gonna be a basketball player or an entertainer, and if I can't do that, then I don't know how I'm gonna make it in life. So, what are some of the careers and some of the things that you're trying to highlight through your work?
Just the originality and uniqueness of an individual. Um, Things that I think that would be interesting, but at the same time would resonate with others. Maybe whatever that particular spotlight or that particular feature would be in my episodes, that it would be something that resonates to an audience that is like, you know, all this time I've been thinking this thing that I've been, you know, kind of pregnant with, if women don't mind me putting it that way, using that as example, that you this inside of you, but because it's not popular or wouldn't see to be popular what everyone's doing, it's like, no, that's what makes, you know, people that I'll never forget a guy by the name of Lewis Gibbs, who used to run the Christian network, the what is it called, it's the gospel network. It'll come to me when I try to stop thinking about it. But he said, sometimes in order to be number one, you have to create the category. And
Wow.
I'll never forget that. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that's part of the DNA. And what I do is to try and encourage people, for whatever my position in their life may be, because of the movies and the music and the success that I have and have. to be able to encourage them because others did that for me. So to encourage and support and feed their uniqueness, their originality, so to speak.
Now,
The Word Network. That's the name of the network.
The Word Network. Mm-hmm. Now, you've been using your star power and your celebrity for quite a while. I see that you've spoken at Duke and several different colleges. Are you putting together different programs? I think you have an entertainment company called Playground or
Playground Solutions. Yeah.
Playground Solutions.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been more than fortunate. You're talking to a guy kind of leads to what I kind of briefly touched on a little while ago. I got kicked out of 5 high schools. And
wow.
I barely got my GED. So when finally I accepted my new manager, my agent, my lawyer, and my accountant, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the path was go back to school.
Okay.
Lord, I'm like 30-something years old. Go back to school. So I thought I'd have to do it the way most people do it, but interestingly enough, through a series of events, I was introduced to an incredible man, God rest his soul, by the name of Dr. Sloan at Miles College. And he saw some value, and he wasn't into the rap thing. He didn't even know who I was when I met him. I didn't even know who he was when I met him. But we clicked right away, had breakfast, and he had this idea of me coming on campus and being somewhat of an unorthodox recruitment, tool, so to speak, in regards to going around speaking to the high schools and the junior high schools in Birmingham, Alabama, and in the Fairfield community. Big shout out to Miles College. And I was there for a while, and in return, also being on salary, being an artist in residence, I had, open invitation to the classes and things of that nature. And then from that, went to North Carolina Central University. I had some work to do at North Carolina. Got introduced to another incredible man, Dr. James Ammons, who decided to make hip hop an accredited course, an eventual accredited course. And then he went on to Florida A&M University, brought me there with him. And all throughout all of that, speaking at Duke, Stanford, you name it, I've been there, especially HBCUs and other universities as well. So, yeah. No one can tell me there isn't a God.
Now, how important do you feel like this education is to you and to our younger generation?
I'm an advocate for it, like big time. My motto to myself, and say it out loud if need be, I might not be able to tell you what to do, but I can sure enough be able to tell you what not to do. Okay. So let me be that person who explains to you some of the things that took place without having an education. And yeah, people will look at it. Well, you've made, 4 movies, comic book, Marvel comic book, NBC cartoon series, and so many things, and still continue on. It's like, it ain't bad for a person who got kicked out of school 5 times, 4 or 5, something like that. So, with all that being said, well, yeah, that's true. But let me tell you about the time that sometime throughout that period, how I was trying to work up the courage to pull the trigger to a 38 snub-nosed revolver that I used to use to stick people up with. Let me tell you about a divorce that I wanted to commit suicide, businesses I invested in. I had clothing stores, barbershops, chains of them, but because of a lack of education, didn't know how to properly manage those things. It was really just a vanity projects, really. But so many things that I've gone through, and yeah, it looked good from the outside. And don't get me wrong, there were some perks in it, but you can have success without God, but you cannot enjoy success without God. Wow. So that's key.
Wow, that's a mind-blowing statement right there. In 2018, you released a documentary to talk about the dancers from the 90s, correct? And I think that's the poster right there behind you.
I'm really excited about that. I love documentaries. I feel as though I get it, human nature. I love entertainment. But I also believe anything that you've invested over an hour of your time in, you should not be the same person you were before you began that hour. So to be entertained and to also get something out of it. So my current piece, which is And I Danced, that's going to be released really, really soon. It's about a celebration, acknowledgement, and tribute to all the dancers I could find, and there was quite a few, 6 years in the making, and how they started out with the low budget, no budget videos in the early stages of hip hop that now are considered iconic music videos, and went on to dance for Prince and Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson and Madonna. And their stories are incredible. So I'm really excited when the world gets to see this. Looks like it'll be on a world home premiere because of the situation we're in, and that's all good. It's good to have a captive audience, but I'm excited about that.
Tell me this, do you like being in front of the camera or behind the camera more?
Behind. I'm more comfortable there. I excel there. I'm anointed there. But I'll do what I need to do in front. That's not a problem. Every once in a while I get the itch, to return, and just to do it, not for the reasons that I wanted to before. But I really love being behind. I really love being in editing and all of that stuff. But yeah, I'm a self-taught artist. So my prayer to my agent, lawyer, and accountant that I shared with you is that, to take what is perceived sometimes to be the old school way of creating on paper and pen that I still do, but to learn how to do it technically or digitally, which I've been successful with. But I've been drawing and designing for like quite some time, doing a lot of stuff that most people aren't really, that they've liked and they really like, but they didn't know that I was the one that like designed those things, some things in hip hop culture, so to speak.
Now we're entering an age of content creation like we've never seen before.
Oh yeah.
What is it that you teach young content creators, and what are some of the things that you tell them that they need to be doing with their careers now?
Well, don't quit. It's not a very exciting and maybe not a very fulfilling answer, but don't quit. But even before then, really, really know that this is what you want to do and what you meant to do. I like one way I've heard that how you realize what's for you is when you see somebody else doing it. And when you see somebody else doing it, you're not jealous of it. You're not judgmental of it. It's just something that stirs up inside you. A great friend and minister friend of mine by the name of Dr. A.R. Bernard at Christian Cultural Center in Brooklyn, New York, once said something I never forgot. He said, if you take two acoustic pianos and put them in a large empty room and put them on the opposite sides of the room, pick any piano you want of the two, strike any key randomly, but hurry up and go over to the other piano and lightly put your hand over that key you struck on the other side. You'll feel it vibrating. And that's how things are with people in regards to when you see that person doing something that you're meant to do. It'll stir up something in you. And like I said, you won't be jealous. You won't be critique of it. You might have some thoughts on, I would have done it this way or whatever, but respectfully. But that's a way you can find out what's meant to do. But don't quit. And research it. This is a great time. I've learned so much to excel in my endeavors as a digital cinematographer from other like-minded individuals on YouTube. I practically live there for tutorial, review, study purposes and stuff. And there's a lot of great people there. And, there's a thing in the word called iron sharpens iron. So to find that other piece of iron that'll sharpen you, but don't quit. That's the key. Love it. You know that you love it so much that you'd be willing to do it for free, but try not to.
Now, of course, we're all aware of the pandemic that's going on, that's affecting our nation right now. How are you holding up with things?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty much in my clique, my crew, my group of guys. I'm pretty much the reclusive one, And a couple of people, when this thing began, they said, well, we know you're in reclusive paradise right now. But it gave me the opportunity to even dig in deeper, finish the documentary, dig in deeper to hone my craft, get better with it, suck it all in, study, absorb it, all of that. But to ask, God, okay, what am I and all we should do? What are we to learn from this? Because, and I'm pretty sure you know this, I may be preaching to the choir and I wouldn't be surprised that I am, is that a lot of people don't know or don't remember if they're old enough that a lot of successful people came out of the Great Depression, because it was opportunities for certain voids to be filled.
Wow.
Certain people, let's just say where we're at today, that might not have given you the time of day before because they were distracted with other things going on outside, whatever. But now people are inside and they're on that computer and they're on the internet. And you just know what discoveries might come out of this, or inventions, or certain things that need to be done. So, from him through me, I'm telling you, pay attention, pay attention.
Well, we definitely, man, we definitely appreciate you taking this time. And like you say, it is a little bit easier to get to people nowadays.
Yeah.
One last thing before we go though, you could have put your content anywhere in the world. You are a global presence. Everybody knows who you are. You could have been on HBO and everything else. You chose to work with a streaming network called XOD.
Yes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that relationship?
Well, as a childhood, well, he was a shorty at the time when I was doing a lot of stuff I was doing in our neighborhood, East Elmhurst, Queens, New York. That's where I had my foreplay custom leather shop and barbershop, foreplay or playtime, all of that. And, he approached me when he got older and in this position. His name is Dominique Mitchell, and just, said, hey, for the inspiration, I'm paraphrasing, for the inspiration you gave me, I have this platform. You're more than invited to be on it. But even before that, I'm a big fan of David and Goliath situations.
Okay.
And I'm sure you and I could talk all day in regards to the pros and the cons of going to the predictable places to go. Or like you said, the HBOs, the Netflix and all of that stuff. And that may be true, but like I said, I'm very much into David and Goliath. I love stories of the little guy winning, or the little engine that could, the story of the bee. No one told the bee that scientifically, because of your weight, you shouldn't be able to fly, but he does fly. I think it's the bumblebee. So I'm a big fan of that. And then, for our people, not to make this a racial thing or whatever, but, we need to have more of our own and to control more of our own. And you can fill in the blanks.
Oh yeah, and honestly, when I first sat down with XOD, and Xperienc on demand for everyone listening, but when I first sat down, I was just so super impressed to see a Black platform like this, so well designed, so well implemented. It looks great. It operates. I mean, it's really a stellar product.
Yes, I concur and I agree, and I've proven that with my attendance on such platform.
Now, are you and kids still talk? Do you guys still talk? You still friends?
Oh yeah, I mean we tour. We did 4 years of I Love the '90s with our sister Salt and Pepper. Right
Wow.
after that, we did Hammer. That was for about a year. Then we had some cruises to do, and then it was time to take a break and fast forward to where we're at today. And a matter of fact, we got a pretty exciting announcement getting ready to be announced soon. We said yes, we greenlit something a couple of days ago that looks pretty exciting. And matter of fact, we have an interview with Fox Soul with Claudia Jordan later on this afternoon, or this tonight at 9 p.m. So no, this is the gift that keeps on giving. You know what I'm saying? And I live vicariously through him because he's all over the place. So anything I'm curious about, any party or whatever's going on, that's my ear and eyes to the street. But no, we're super cool.
That's so amazing, because looking back in the day and looking back at the movies, I would have thought it was you was the outgoing person, and he was the more the reclusive one.
Everybody says that, and maybe I just burnt myself out. There's a lot of been there, done that, and I have boxes of T-shirts to prove it. But no, it was just it was just time for a change. God used hip hop to save my life, and it's time to just use this, like the story of Paul when he met. I believe it was Paul. The fishermen. I'm sorry, that they thought it was time to change their occupation. And Peter, I'm sorry, because I know you biblical people on top of that. It's like, you don't know your Bible. Peter. Peter and them thought maybe it was time for them to change their occupation because of being converted. And he's like, no, you're fishers, and I'm gonna make you fishermen of men. So with me, same thing, thinking I had to, get my suits and become either a preacher or a doctor or something like that. And he's like, no, you've been doing this for over 40 years now. You take what you learn and you'll be a rapper for men. I guess you could put it that way, or icon. Even though I'm a better gift rapper around Christmas with the microphone.
I think you proved your talents well many times, sir.
Appreciate that.
Well, like we told you, we wouldn't hold you very long, man. We know you're a super busy guy, and we definitely appreciate you sitting down with the Atlanta Business Journal. We also have a huge entrepreneurial following, and a lot of young folks as well watching this interview. What is the advice that you would be giving to the next generation, or what are you telling the next generation? What can we close with?
Don't be scared to be different. That's who the trendsetters is. Like I said earlier, sometimes to be number one, be number one in a category. Dominic Mitchell is just text me now. Sometimes to be number one in a category, you need to invent the category. So whatever you have that just seems like it goes against the grain or just would be weird or whatever, do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at those that you probably admire now, how they started. They were unique, laughed at maybe for a little while, shunned, and all embarrassed or whatever, but it paid off. And, look who's laughing now. But what I would say is, can find out who you are and don't be scared to be different. It works. It will work.
Wow.
In a positive mindset.
Wow. Thank you so much for this time today. To our ABJ readers, we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. Once again, the one and only Christopher Play Martin. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have enjoyed this interview just as much as I have, and we will see you soon. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.